Welcome to Reach Pharmacy Health Talks.
Okay, so you're looking to give your immune system an extra boost for winter, right? And supplements are definitely on your radar.
Definitely.
But you want to go beyond just like the basic vitamin C recommendations.
Yeah, for sure.
You want to know like what else is out there, what really works.
The real deal.
Exactly. Well, you've come to the right place because we've got a stack of articles here from all kinds of sources, medical journals, health organizations, you name it.
We've been digging deep.
We're on a mission to help you navigate the world of immune-boosting supplements so you can feel confident heading into those winter months.
And you've got to be careful because the supplement market can feel like a jungle sometimes.
Oh, tell me about it.
It's easy to get lost in all the claims.
It's overwhelming, so that's exactly why we're doing this deep dive.
We're zeroing in on the science here, cutting through all the noise.
Exactly. Okay, so before we even jump into specific supplements, let's talk about why winter can be such a challenge for our immune systems in the first place.
Right. It's not just about being cold, right?
Yeah.
Although that is part of it. One of the articles we found pointed out that when temperatures drop, our bodies have to work harder just to stay warm.
Makes sense.
Which means less energy for other important things like,
Like fighting off those pesky viruses just waiting to take us down.
Exactly. And on top of that, we're spending more time indoors during the winter.
Huddled together, breathing the same air.
It's like a welcome party for germs. Plus, let's be honest, when it's cold and dark outside,
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
our diets tend to shift a bit.
Comfort food season is upon us. Bring on the carbs.
And hey, I'm all for a little indulgence. But those comfort foods aren't always packing the nutritional punch that our immune systems need.
That's true.
Fewer fresh fruits and veggies during the winter can mean missing out on key vitamins and minerals. And speaking of missing out, winter also means less sunlight.
Which brings us to our first immune-boosting superstar, vitamin D. The sunshine vitamin.
It's a classic for a reason.
It is, although one article I came across, they were actually saying it's not technically a vitamin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, more like a hormone.
Interesting. I mean, it makes sense when you think about how it's produced in our skin in response to sunlight.
Exactly. It's fascinating how something as simple as sunlight can have such a big impact on our health.
Absolutely. And this article from MDPI, they really dove deep into the research on vitamin D.
Oh, yeah, what do they say?
Well, they highlighted its connection to a healthy immune system. They said it's not just about strong bones.
Which is what we usually hear about with vitamin D.
Right, but it's about having those immune cells ready to fight.
So what's the best way to get enough vitamin D, especially during the winter when the sun's playing hide and seek? Asking for a friend, of course, who lives in a place where the sun takes a very long vacation during the winter.
Right, well, getting outside is always a good idea whenever possible. But for those living in less sunny climates or during the winter months, food sources of vitamin D become even more important.
Okay, so what should we be eating?
We're talking fatty fish like salmon and tuna.
Love some salmon.
Egg yolks are a good source, and then there are also fortified foods.
Right, like some milk and cereals have added vitamin D.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got sunshine, salmon, and dot supplements. Because let's face it, sometimes diet alone isn't enough, especially during winter.
That's where supplements come in.
But this is where it can get a bit tricky, right?
It definitely can. Dosage is key with vitamin D.
So more isn't always better.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
That same MDPI article I mentioned, they talked about a study on athletes where supplementing with vitamin D actually seemed to hurt their performance because they were taking too much.
Wow, really? So you can have too much of a good thing.
You definitely can. And that's why working with your healthcare provider to figure out the right dose for you is so important.
Absolutely. Personalized guidance is key.
Yeah.
It makes total sense. Now, while we're on the subject of powerful antioxidants,
Yes.
so I have to ask about another popular choice. Vitamin C. It's like the go-to remedy when people feel a cold coming on. But is it really that effective, or is it just hype?
Vitamin C is a bit of a rock star in the immune system world, I have to admit.
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
It's an antioxidant powerhouse,
Yeah.
helping to protect our cells from damage.
Okay, so how does it actually work?
Well, the ZoopMed article we came across, they did a really deep dive into the research. And it turns out there's some pretty solid evidence that vitamin C can both prevent and reduce the duration of those pesky respiratory infections.
So it's not just hype, there's actual science backing it up.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the best part is, you can get a good dose of vitamin C from a variety of delicious foods.
Yes.
Food first, always.
Always. We're talking citrus fruits,
Of course.
berries, spinach, kale. The list goes on.
See, this is why I love these deep dives. You start with a simple question about vitamin C, And suddenly you're on this fascinating journey through the science of it all.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It is. Speaking of fascinating, what about zinc? I feel like it often gets overshadowed by vitamin C, but several articles mentioned it as being crucial for immune function. Zinc is like the unsung hero of the immune system.
I like that, the unsung hero.
It plays a vital role in how our bodies fight off those invading viruses.
Okay, so how does it actually work? Give us the details.
Well, studies suggest that zinc can significantly shorten the duration of colds.
Music to my ears. I hate having a cold drag on and on.
Right. But here's the catch, and the big one. Timing is key with zinc.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What's the deal with timing?
It seems zinc is most effective when taken within 24 hours of those very first symptoms.
So you feel that telltale tickle in your throat.
Exactly. Don't wait. That's your cue to call in the zinc.
So it's like a rapid response team for your immune system.
Exactly.
I'm making a note of that. Keep some zinc handy at the first sign of a sniffle. What are some good food sources of zinc, by the way?
Think beef, shrimp, lentils, chickpeas, and cashews.
Got it. So, we've got our sunshine vitamin, our antioxidant champion, and our rapid response mineral. What other immune-boosting wonders await? I guess we'll find out in part 2 of our deep dive. So we've got vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc. These all sound like great ways to support our immune systems heading into cold and flu season. But let's say, hypothetically, of course, a sneaky cold virus manages to slip past all our defenses.
It happens.
It does, unfortunately. So the question is, do these supplements still have our backs once we're already feeling under the weather, or are we out of luck?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer, as with so many things in health, is...
It depends. Okay, I knew you were going to say that, but give us the details.
Let's take vitamin C, for example. It's fantastic as a preventive measure.
We talked about that, yeah.
But the research on whether it can actually shorten the duration of a cold once you're already sick is a little less clear-cut.
So no magic bullet.
Not quite.
Oh,
You can't just guzzle down orange juice at the first sign of a sniffle and expect to be symptom-free by morning.
darn. I was hoping for a miracle cure.
I know, right? But there is some evidence that consistently taking vitamin C throughout the winter months might help take the edge off your symptoms.
Okay, so maybe shorten the misery by a day or two. I'll take it. What about zinc, then? We talked about how timing is key for prevention.
Right, that 24-hour window.
Exactly. But does it do anything once the sniffles have already set in?
Actually, yes. There's some promising research on this, which we found in this PMC article about self-care for colds.
Yeah.
Studies show that zinc can actually reduce the duration of a cold, but again, timing is crucial. You've got to act fast.
Okay, tell us how fast we're talking.
Ideally, you want to start taking zinc within 24 hours of those first symptoms.
24 hours? Man, I'm not on top of my cold symptoms that quickly. I'm usually in denial for at least the first 48 hours.
I know, it's tough. We want to believe it's not happening.
Exactly. But I get it. Timing is everything with some of these supplements. Speaking of which, what about quercetin? We haven't talked about that one yet.
Quercetin. Now, this one's a real multitasker. It's a powerful anti-inflammatory and a natural antihistamine, which means it can be a lifesaver for people with allergies.
Right. The ZupMed article called it an anti-allergic powerhouse, which I love.
So it might not directly fight off a cold virus, but it can help manage those pecky symptoms like congestion and a runny nose.
It's all about making you more comfortable while your body does the hard work of fighting off the virus.
Exactly.
Okay, I like it. So it's less about attacking the virus head on and more about providing some much-needed relief.
Exactly.
Okay, next up on our list of immune-boosting hopefuls, NAC, or N-acetylcysteine. I know, it's a mouthful.
It's a mouthful, but it's a good one.
Right, so NAC. It's known for its ability to break down mucus and act as a detoxifier, which, let's be honest, sounds pretty amazing when you're all stuffed up. But does it actually have any direct antiviral effects? Or is it more about symptom management?
That's a great question. And the answer is, it's a little bit of both. While NSC might not directly attack viruses, it plays a crucial role behind the scenes. It's a precursor to glutathione.
Glutathione. Remind me what that is again.
It's like the mother of all antioxidants, helping to protect your cells from damage, and is super important for a strong immune response.
Okay. Got it. So NAC is like the support crew, making sure your immune system has all the resources it needs to battle those invaders.
Precisely. It's about giving your body that extra edge.
I like that, the extra edge. All right, let's move on to another popular one, echinacea. I feel like this is the OG immune booster, the one our parents and grandparents swore by.
Right. Echinacea has definitely stood the test of time.
It's one of those remedies that's been passed down through generations. And now science is finally catching up and figuring out why it works, which I love.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So several studies have shown that taking echinacea, right when you start feeling those first cold symptoms, might actually help reduce their severity and how long they stick around for.
Again, with the timing, it's like these supplements have a sixth sense for when a cold is about to strike.
Our bodies are actually really good at giving us subtle warnings when something is brewing. We just have to learn to listen to them.
That's so true. But we're so used to just powering through and ignoring those early signs.
Exactly. But tuning into your body and noticing what's normal for you and what's not can be a game changer. We actually came across this article from a health library blog that talked about this.
Oh, interesting. What did it say?
Well, it talked about how a cold develops in stages, from that initial viral invasion to, the full-blown symphony of sniffles and sneezes that we all know and love. And it emphasized that there are often these subtler signs that pop up even before the classic symptoms hit.
Okay, so what are some of those early warning signs that we should be on the lookout for? Besides the obvious ones, like a runny nose and a cough.
You might feel a little more tired than usual, maybe have a scratchy throat, or even notice a change in your sense of smell.
Ugh, the dreaded loss of smell. That one always gets me.
It's a dead giveaway, right?
Yeah.
But you're right, it's so easy to just brush those early signs aside.
Totally. But like you said, being aware of those subtle shifts in our bodies can help us take action sooner and potentially minimize the impact of a cold.
Exactly.
So it's all about paying attention and being proactive. Now, we've been diving deep into the world of supplements, but I think it's important to acknowledge the other heroes in this story, wouldn't you say? Those foundational habits that help keep our immune system strong.
100%. Supplements can be incredibly helpful, but they're just one piece of the puzzle.
Exactly. We can't forget about those everyday choices that create the foundation for a resilient immune system.
Absolutely.
We've covered a lot of ground here talking about all these different immune-boosting supplements.
We really have.
And I think we're starting to get a good sense of what they are, why they matter, and even like when to take them to really maximize their effectiveness.
Timing is key.
It is. But before we wrap up our deep dive into the world of immune support, I think there's one more crucial piece of the puzzle we need to address. Dosage.
Right, because we can't just be popping these supplements like candy.
Exactly. There's a fine line between boosting and overdoing it.
Absolutely. And the ZooMed article we came across, it really emphasized that even natural supplements can have side effects.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Or they could even interact with other medications you're taking.
Right, which is why it's always a good idea to talk to your doctor before starting any new supplements.
Always. They know your medical history, any medications you're on, and can help you figure out if a supplement is right for you and what dosage is appropriate.
Personalized guidance is key. But are there any general guidelines we can keep in mind, just to kind of get a sense of what we're working with here?
Sure. For starters, always check the product label because it will usually have recommended dosage information.
Oh, right. Like that article we read from Metropolis Healthcare about vitamin D.
Yeah.
They recommended 10 ing day or 400 IU for adults.
There you go. So at least there's a starting point.
Exactly. And I guess if you're ever unsure about something, your pharmacist can be a great resource too.
Oh, absolutely. Pharmacists are like walking encyclopedias of medication information.
Right. They know their stuff. Okay, so we've got our sources for dosage info. Labels, pharmacists, and of course, our healthcare providers.
Your dream team.
Exactly. But before we move on, I have one more question about supplements. The different forms they come in.
Okay.
Because it can get a little overwhelming, right? You've got capsules, tablets, liquids, powders.
So many options.
So many options. Does it even matter how you take them?
That's a really good question, and it's something people often overlook. But the form of a supplement can actually affect how well your body absorbs it and how effective it'll be.
Oh, wow. I had no idea.
Yeah, so it can make a difference.
Okay, so what are some things to consider when choosing between, say, a pill and a powder?
Well, your healthcare provider or pharmacist will be able to give you the best advice for your specific situation. But in general, some supplements are best taken on an empty stomach, while others are better absorbed with food.
Oh, like vitamin D. One article mentioned taking it with a meal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes it just comes down to personal preference.
Right.
Like if you have trouble swallowing pills, there are often liquid or chewable options.
Oh, that's good to know.
Or if you love smoothies, powders can be a convenient way to get your supplements.
Right. Just blend them right in.
Exactly. And speaking of different forms, remember that article we talked about on quercetin? It mentioned that its absorption can be a little tricky.
Yeah, I remember that.
And they recommended looking for phytosome formulations for better results.
It's amazing how much there is to learn about supplements. I feel like we could do a whole other deep dive just on that.
Right.
This has been such an eye-opening journey. I feel like we've really demystified the world of immune-boosting supplements and given our listeners the knowledge they need to make informed decisions about their health.
I hope so. Knowledge is power, as they say.
It really is, especially when it comes to our health. But before we go, I
Yeah.
want to circle back to something we talked about earlier, which is the importance of those foundational habits that really form the bedrock of a healthy immune system.
Absolutely. Supplements are great, but we can't rely on them alone.
Exactly. It's about creating a lifestyle that supports your overall well-being, getting enough sleep, managing stress, staying hydrated, nourishing your body with plenty of fruits and veggies. Those things make a huge difference.
You really do.
And we can't forget the power of connection either. Laughing with loved ones, spending time in nature, even just cuddling with a pet. Those social connections do wonders for our immune systems too.
It's about taking care of our whole selves, the mind, body, and spirit.
I love that. A holistic approach to health.
Exactly.
It's not just about popping pills. It's about creating a life that you love, that brings you joy.
And that nourishes you on every level.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this immune-boosting adventure.
I agree.
We've covered a lot of ground today, but I hope our listeners feel empowered to take charge of their health, especially as we head into those colder months.
Here's to a happy, healthy winter.
Cheers to that. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of immune support.
Thank you for listening. Visit reachpharmacy.com, your go-to online pharmacy for all your medical needs in the UK.